for coming out, yes, in the sweltering heat, and also seeing it on the big screen. And I paid a little visit to the dermatologist, and they got everything all good. So thanks. Pardon the Band-Aid.
I'm just happy to have you here, healthy, both of you. Congratulations again, guys. I mean, I guess let's just start with this. I mean, we all saw the world's events a few years back in Thailand, and we're just blown away by how this all unfolded. When you're watching it, just as, John Q. Public, are you even thinking this has the makings of a story? When does that click in for you that there's a narrative here that might be worth exploring?
Well, I was shooting, I believe, and so I wasn't following it on a kind of a TikTok beat for beat level. My wife Cheryl was, and Karen Lunder at Imagine was. She runs all the movies at Imagine. She's also a producer on this film. And Karen said afterwards she thought that, I'm sure there's a movie there. You know who thought there was a movie? Rick Stanton and John Valanthan. Like, they literally, on the way home, they said, well, somebody's going to make a movie out of this, right? So it didn't cross my mind. I was relieved by the outcome, and it just didn't cross my mind. When Bill Nicholson's script came to me via the producers, PJ and Gabby, but what was it, maybe 18 months later, maybe just 2 years later, I was, it covered all the headlines that I thought I knew, and then there was just so much more, and there was so much potential. And once I sort of confirmed that Bill wasn't just inventing things, that these moments existed, they'd happened, they were there in the research. I thought of it as a kind of a gift. Usually I develop the projects that come my way, but occasionally something comes along like this did, or maybe Rush, where I just, I just am excited and I leap onto it. And I also just knew from my own experience working on, now a lot of projects based on real events, that there would be more. We'd find more. We'd find, and I felt like it had a lot to offer as a scripted version. There was already a 5-part documentary that had been done. I knew that there was a doc being made, and I didn't see it. I mean, it wasn't finished and being shown around until we were deep into post-production. They're great filmmakers and they did a great job. But I just felt, well, with the scripted version, I can just make this more accessible to more people. You can create the bridge sort of toward empathy, to recognize just the risks that were being taken. Obviously the divers, obviously the boys, but so many others who were making really courageous decisions. Not all of them worked out, but a lot of them did, and they really moved the needle. And I just felt like there was good actable drama in all this. I knew that the cave would be challenging. I underestimated how challenging it would be, in fact. But I felt like if we persevered, we'd get it. I have other experiences in really difficult circumstances like that, and we always get there. But the big X factor to me was that the acting had to be good. The Western actors, the Thai actors, and I knew that their parts would keep expanding, and that's kind of where Raymond comes into the picture, because I just I knew we had to get the culture, the language, the behavior to ring true. And she said. I think this is your highest degree of difficulty. And I said, yeah, but Backdraft was scary and Apollo 13 had the waitlist. And she said, you had those challenges, but you didn't have this ensemble, this international ensemble. And I think I took the most joy when I saw this clicking. And of course I had to keep checking with Thai speakers, other than Raymond, because I knew I didn't know how much objectivity Raymond would have. It turns out he's a tough customer. He maintains his objectivity, but just to keep checking that we were okay and it was going well. And Sayampu was really feeling the scenes and feeling very good about it. And I think the actors began to understand that I was not going to be insulted by criticisms or concerns about the script or disagreements if I was asking them to do something that that wasn't appropriate. very gracious people, and they had to learn that was not going to be, upsetting to me. So overall, the only disappointment for me was that I really didn't get to go to Thailand, and I part of the excitement for me was to go to Thailand and sort of immerse myself in that way. And COVID didn't allow that, and even the couple of weeks that we shot, one were mostly beauty unit, important, but rice fields and mountains and drones and things like that. And then there was a week of scenes, but those I had a chance to pre-rehearse those, and by then I really knew the cast well, and they knew me, and the scenes were not that complicated. But it was important that they be set in other locations. And so I did that remotely, but it was I wouldn't recommend it, but it was effective and it worked out okay. So I think in many ways that one of the most satisfying experiences ever really was blending this ensemble and seeing that work and seeing the actors take to it. And then recently, we were able to spend more time together because we couldn't really during COVID very much. We were just on the set. But just on this few weeks of the PR tour, just seeing Viggo and Colin and Joel and Tom, so happy to be back with the Thai cast and vice versa. I find it gratifying.
Well, and play out and let these emotional beats play out, and there almost isn't the sweeping, you don't go for the jugular. And you don't need to. And by the end, I don't know, for me, the emotion of seeing all these different perspectives by the end and this just community, these different communities coming together, it really emotionally affects you.
Well, I felt like that was appropriate for this, but also, without a doubt, the documentary that I made a few years ago called Rebuilding Paradise, which is about the fires in this little town in Northern California, devastated the town. And the opening sequence of this documentary it's probably one of the most potent sort of cinematic sequences that I've ever been involved with. But it all came from people's cell phones and their own footage as they were escaping the town and watching they were terrified, and they were watching their homes burn. And you could feel the emotion, but it was not at that performative level. It really wasn't, and I did think about that. And then, of course, I'm watching the documentaries, and outside of the moment documented where a mother is crying out for her child and kind of collapses, which we sort of replicated, but I didn't let her collapse. I got to let her. It was okay to lean on a rock, but that's as far as we were going to go. But I did recognize that, and I did equate the two. Now, look, the next movie may come along, and I may feel that sort of drama is right, or the actor may convince me that that's the way to go, or something. But I definitely feel that the documentary experience resonates. It permeates my work on the scripted material. And look, I'm just enjoying. I'm enjoying the whole thing. I had a great private moment, which I'll share. I was at an event. It was just before the Oscars, and Jane Campion was there last year, and I just met her, and I said, congratulations, and I've just always loved your work, and what an amazing movie, and kind of knowing that she was probably going to win. She'd won everything up to that point, but regardless, just happy to get to talk to her. And she said, "What are you working on now?" And I just, before I even started to answer, she said, "You're just having fun now, aren't you?" And I said, I'm having a great time. I love the medium. I love the way things are evolving. I love the way the world is getting smaller, and it challenges me in ways that I think are kind of good for me as a person and as a filmmaker as well. And you sort of ask, how did we do it? It was a matter of being really granular. It was a constant attention to detail. And looking every scene really at the opportunity to share more of what we had learned, and that just kept going on into the edit. Can't say enough about James Wilcox, by the way, fantastic editor, so good with performance, but also so central shaping the movie narrative as it's unfolded.
Well,
No bitching. It wasn't a rule, just nobody complained. Why? Because they knew the story they were telling, and they knew what people had been through, and they wanted to do what they could do. And so I've never had a cast and crew go through a movie with such dedication and commitment, and I'm glad you recognize that.